Matt, you've just recently carried out a number of channel checks to find out the best way to buy an iPhone 15. So not only are you providing financial analysis for our terminal users, but you're also providing a service for beleaguered consumers. So what are the key findings that came from this study?
Yeah, that's right. So we looked at the UK market, and we did this to coincide with the launch of the iPhone 15, because it's often quite a big marketing push by the carriers to kind of gain customers or retain existing customers. And so I think there's a couple of really interesting findings from this. The first is it pays to shop around. You can save a lot of money by thinking carefully about how you buy a phone. And there's a couple of main ways you can do this. You can either kind of basically get an airtime and phone bundle through your mobile carrier, like EE, for example, or you can break it up and you can go to Apple, buy your phone, and then get a SIM-only contract from your carrier. And maybe surprisingly, it's much better value to go to Apple to buy your phone and get a SIM-only contract from your carrier than it is just to go straight to your carrier and get the bundle. And you can save, depending on if you trade in your existing phone or not, upwards of £250 to £300. So over the life of a 2-year contract, that's kind of £10 plus a month, which is maybe about a 15% or so savings. So it's not insignificant. But I think, we've seen a big shift in this direction. Apple, as the price of their handsets has gone up, has made it much easier or less painful, if you like, for customers to buy their phone through them. You can get a 0% finance deal with them over 2 years. So you can kind of pay that back monthly with Apple. I think what's been interesting, though, when we did the analysis, it's not just savings on the phone you get with Apple. It's also savings on the airtime. Surprisingly, some of these carriers, when you're doing the bundle, you end up paying more for the airtime than you would doing to getting the equivalent airtime contract on a SIM only. So that was quite interesting. So that's the first point we'd make. I think the second thing that was quite interesting is that none of the carriers seem to be making an incremental push around the iPhone 15 in the UK to gain share. Essentially, that the kind of pricing structure that we saw pre the launch are still there. So that essentially means that 3 of the carriers, so EE, Vodafone and O2, are essentially pitched almost identical on pricing. And then you've got 3 which is priced at quite a big discount to the other carriers. But, we thought maybe you'd see perhaps EE or perhaps O2 put some interesting offers in the market to gain share, but they seem to be happy to just kind of let the market continue in its current equilibrium state. So I think those are the kind of 2 main points for us. Shop around. Don't think that your carrier is the best value when big new phones are launched.
3 obviously at a big discount. The others not really chasing market share. Why do you think that is?
I think it's because they don't need to. I think 3 typically pricing is about £10 a month cheaper than EE. So EE is the most expensive on an airtime contract. 3 is the cheapest. So £10, that's about kind of almost a 50% discount at the low end of the market and about a 30% discount at the top end when you're getting an unlimited deal. So it's a significant discount, but I think essentially 3 struggles still with this perception that it's got very poor network coverage and quality. And so I think the other carriers just seeing that they don't need to reduce that price discount to hold on to their customers. People put significant value in the much better network quality they get from particularly EE, but also O2 and Vodafone.
And then the final thing, which is worth picking up on as well, is you note that Apple pay the best price for a hand-in phone. We've all been there. What constitutes good for the consumer out there?
Yes, it is quite a big difference. So if you took an iPhone 13 to Apple, when we did this, you'd have got £350 for a good condition phone, and the other carriers were typically offering maybe around kind of £300. So quite a big difference there in what you get. I mean, I guess good condition, really, it almost needs to be pristine. If you've got a kind of broken screen, or it doesn't power up, or the battery's dead, or the camera lenses are smashed, then I think you're either going to see significant reduction in the trade-in value, and possibly even it's going to come down to 0. So really what you're doing is being a good citizen and getting your phone recycled responsibly, which is still a good thing to do. But if you've got scratches and dents, then you're probably not going to get anywhere close to the £350 that you could get from Apple.
Great, Matt. Thanks a lot for that. It's a really interesting study, and I'm glad I've been following your advice inadvertently for years.